I'm wanting to work on the 8x8 pad because I'm just on an A4 bit of grey board, and I've actually attached some of the 12x12 as my background piece, and then all I've done is I've just cut out loads of like bits and bobs. I'm not quite sure how it's all going to assemble yet, but part of the paper pad is this really lovely frame. It's drawn in white on this deep colour, but actually would take some gold. I've put the gold, well, I've started to put it round the edge, and I've also started to put some gold round here. I did originally, this is something that actually went a little bit wrong, but I'll show you what I did. I thought I was going to cut out a hair and do it 3D and sort of decoupage it. And I thought, I know, because it's in the frame like this, I wanted something quite light behind it, probably a bit of white. So I had a bit of an experiment with some sandpaper. And I tried with my sandpaper, and I thought, oh, you know, that's going to look quite good. I like that. And I did it, and it looked brilliant. And then I thought, I wonder if I wet it, whether it'll look even better. And I wet it, and actually it didn't look quite so good after I wet it.
Right.
So, I mean, I did another bit after just to show the difference. So sandpaper, in fact I did some this afternoon on another project, worked really well. With wet and dry, without any water at all, it just takes like the top layer off, the pigment off, and leaves the white. But anyway, it's just a technique if anybody else wants to have a try at it. So what I did was I went in with the gold, and again I paint with my fingers, because I think you don't sort of get edges, and you can blend and spread, and I just want this gold sort of coming up from behind the frame, but I still also want my white. Because of the deep colours, I just think it needs the white to make it pop forward. So what I want to do is I want to add white, which I've gone and left my flicking brush at home, so bear with while I hope this works.
Now, Kathy, I need to tell you that you have got about 10 minutes.
Okay, yeah, brilliant. So I'm going to get some white on that gold. Now, I'm not worried about if it goes on his face, because I've cut a piece out that's going to go on the top. Yeah, I was hoping to get slightly bigger lumps, but hey-ho, it is what it is.
Oh, look.
This is when you do this technique and you look in the mirror and you find you've got it all over your face.
Well, I kind of say I'm glad of social distancing, because it wouldn't be the first time that I have been splattered all over
really?
with white paint. And actually, funnily enough, I think it's the exact same top that I was wearing one time with Lou Withers. Kind of, it was quite funny.
What, and you got white all over it?
Oh yes, all over my face, all over the paint, you know, the shirt. It was also, it wasn't even a splattering, it was a kind of opening, it was an upside down the tube or something, and she had to press quite hard. Yeah. And of course it kind of went everywhere. But look at that.
So I'm just going to check that, yeah, so I can see enough of the white. It needs the white as the contrast. And I've put it on quite thickly, so I'm just going to dry it off.
Could you, while it's wet, sprinkle a little bit of glitter? Would it attach the glitter to the paint?
Yes, you could do. Yeah, yeah.
Oh, that's fabulous.
Because you know, this is like an acrylic paint, and with acrylics you can, when they're water-based acrylics, but they're almost waterproof when they're dry. They dry a bit like a plastic. You know, if you ever leave a bit in your palette, you can kind of peel it off, can't you? So yeah, for sure. Yeah, right, I think that's dry. So I'm going to have my frame, but what I want is I want my hair to come from the bottom but pop over the top.
Oh, so, that's lovely.
Yeah, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to glue the bottom first, again in the interest of speed.
You know, it has got that inquisitive look, almost like, well, you know, what are you looking at? You know, what is there? You know, it's almost like, it has got such a personality, and that's what I love about your artwork, because it's kind of almost ask questions, you know, it's kind of...
I think that's to do with, you know, my background is children's book illustration, and so I've always drawn to words, if you know what I mean. And I think actually even now I'm obviously not drawing, colouring or painting for words, but I think that you know,
It's
artwork,
characters.
it tells a story,
Yeah,
doesn't it?
Definitely.
So I want to have him slightly raised. Now, if this isn't enough, I might use some 3D.
I mean, it's almost like you are giving us
glue.
the images so we can imagine the words and the characters, because automatically you feel that he's gonna come alive, and already I'm giving him or her the personality, and I just love that.
I've slightly domed that, so I've sort of pushed it down a bit to give it a bit of dimension, and then hopefully that's going to fit
love
there.
that.
Now I've smudged one of my white blobs, so I'm actually going to take it off, and I can always just reapply it after with a brush. So it wasn't completely dry, but never mind. Right, and I'm going to slightly sculpt the ears. I love dimensional work.
Yeah.
To take a two-dimensional piece of paper and make it three-dimensional. So I think that's going to look really nice. Now, this is obviously all off-cut. So there's a bit of artwork here that I might want to save for another project.
Okay.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to mark, if I've got something that will show, let's just use a marker pen. I'm just going to roughly mark where I want to cut. I want to cut round there and no lower than there. Never waste anything, Paola.
No,
you never know when it might come in handy.
Well,
you know, and
yeah, I can agree with that.
can I
And
go
I
on?
wish also that I find everything handy, so I've got a room full of stuff that I don't have time to actually use.
I know, it's not good. You see, even here, I've tried to put lots of borders and edges on things.
Yeah.
So that we can, we can save that and use that on a
Definitely.
piece, because that's not going to be seen. So waste not, want not. Okay. Well, it's full on the floor, so I'm not going to use it on this piece. And now I'm going to
That's
glue that down.
beautiful.
I think actually I would have had a bit more white, but in the interest of speed, we won't bother. So this is going to go on here, and this is going to go there, and I want to keep the sort of turquoise. If I cover that up, it's all going to be too much of the same hue. So we're going to go like this.
And that's what those background papers are so good, because they are not just a solid matching colour, it's just that degradation, and it gives you more possibilities.
Well, that's what we were hoping for.
Yeah, definitely. And also I kind of see almost like northern lights, you know, that
Yes,
kind of...
yeah, a little bit. But
kind of-
every snowflake on here I've painted, I've hand drawn, and in actual fact the artwork on the back is all original paintings, my paintings that we have then scanned in and used as the backgrounds.
I mean, you realise that we are all a little bit, how can I say the word? It's like jealous of your amazing talent. That's the way to put it.
Well, you know, everybody can be jealous of somebody in some form. I'm jealous of the way Mel can cook. I'd love to be able to cook like that. And, you know, everybody has something, don't they? And so then I'm going to place that. In fact, I might leave a bit over, because I could get some borders around the side there. So I'm just going to put some glue. And then once I've got my main piece, which is obviously this, I can then start adding all my little bits and bobs.
Yeah. And of course, Mel has got a background in, is it interior design?
Yeah, photography and interior design.
So you were talking, I think, last time as well, how Mel had inspired you about colour choices and things like that.
Yeah, she does. I mean, you'd think I should know something about colour, but actually I quite often get it wrong. Because I love colour, I throw everything I put every single colour on. It's actually Mel that said to me, she said the best rule is to pick two colours that go together and stick to it, and you know, don't sort of go off on a tangent. You can at a push add a third, but ideally you want to stick to two. Now I'm going to add something here that is not part of this one day special. It's actually, I'm going to add some wings. Now Paola, ask me why I'm going to add some wings.
Why are you asking us adding some wings?
Because we've got a group called the Pink Inkers Group Facebook page, and a lovely chap called Stuart Brown. He had a suggestion. No, he didn't have a suggestion. Beg your pardon. He posted on there a really beautiful piece of work that had movement in it. And so we run competitions for people to win stamps and things. And so our competition at the moment running is called Motion, anything motion. And so this is going to be I can't win obviously, but this is going to be my entry, Stuart. And the motion is the fact that it's flying. So this is for him that I'm doing this. So I'm going to put the wings on. Now, before I actually glue them, I probably, if I've got time, I shall add a little bit of multi-surface just to put the colour in there.
You have got 3 minutes till the end of the show.
3? Yeah. Only 3 minutes?
Yeah, I know,
oh
right?
My
I mean, not only the hair is flying, the time is flying.
So now this technique that I showed just a moment ago, we've got a page that's got lots of these little stars on. You can do the same. Obviously, there's no template on the back. You'd have to just do it yourself. But I've done the same, and I've got some that obviously come off the edge, and I didn't want to waste them, so I thought I could actually use them for sticking on and looking like they're going over the edge. I'll trim them if they're not the right size. We've also got on there frames. I thought that would be really nice to use. So I was going to get my, there's a little tiny robin, and I was going to put the robin behind, but it could come down here actually. So you can cut the centres out of your frames or leave them in. You could put a little stamp in there. Now this actually came from the original drawing. Actually, it's here, look. So I've taken it off there, it's there, and I've mounted it and put a bit of gold on. But it's got the ear of the original, so that's actually how it sat on the paper. Yeah. So wherever I position this, my thought was that I'm going to have to put a star to cover it. So don't feel that, you know, oh, I can't use it because it's got a tip of an ear on it. It can be used. And I've got all these stars, which again, you know, we could colour, we could make borders down the side. I'm not gluing anything on because I'm mindful that I'm running out of time and I actually want to get it.
You know, it's just see you working out the composition. I think is very inspirational as well. And of course, this is using the 8x8 papers, isn't it?
This is all 8x8, other than this backing piece, which was a 12x12. But actually, if you had the 8 and 8, you could you know, double up on the back.
Or maybe if you go for the rice papers, you could use the rice paper at the bottom, at the background. Yeah. There's so many possibilities, and of course, in order to get yours, you need to check out your baskets, whether it's for those beautiful 8x8 papers or the rice papers or the one-day special, of course. Oh, look at the crown.
Yeah, that crown has come off our B stamp. So again, I'd paint those so they tied in. And then, of course, we've got loads and loads of borders to use or go out and add. And, you know, you could just really, really go to town on it.
Look at that.
And what a lovely piece.
That is gorgeous.
But I would love to, if I had more time, I'd add loads more white to this, so it was really rich and deep. But with, I mean, you can see already with the accent of the white on the wings and the crown, how it sort of consolidates it all a lot better.
And it kind of makes it the darkness be darker and the brightness be brighter. You know, brings definition and depth of it. Thank you so much.
Have I run out of time then?
Yeah.